And welcome into this special edition of the Bonus Podcast from Viveland Sports, a media production of Viveland Media. I'm Todd Miller. Today we're visiting with Super Bowl champion Rex Burkhead from the state of Texas and a member of the New England Patriots. Rex, how are you? And first of all, thanks for joining us today.
I'm doing great, Todd. Thanks for having me, man.
All right, I want to begin a little bit with your background. Your family is from Kentucky. You actually graduated high school from Plano, Texas. Tell us a little bit about growing up in the Lone Star State, the transition from Kentucky to Texas.
Yeah, so I was born in Lexington, moved to Texas at an early age. I was only 6 years old, and my parents, they both grew up in Kentucky. My dad ended up getting a job in Dallas, and so we kind of made the move. And growing up in Texas, there's kind of nothing, especially the Dallas area. There's nothing like Texas high school football, and so that was brought to me at an early age, and just the Friday night lights, deal. So parents raised me, very well, I felt like, and just had tremendous influence on me, and as well as my older brother. So, my dad, he played football, tried out in the NFL for a couple years. My brother, he ended up playing football as well. Played at Harvard, graduated there. And so that was kind of always in my bloodstream from an early age.
Did you grow up because of your dad being in preseason camp with the Miami Dolphins and Dan Marino growing up hoping that you would someday play in the NFL?
I did. I had a strong passion for it at an early age. Always loved to play. I remember running out on my brother's practices and trying to get in there when I shouldn't have been. And so, definitely loved the game from early on, and always envisioned myself of playing in the NFL someday. And as I kept going, kept growing, and kept getting better at the game, I could start to see that really take shape.
So really, Rex, the move from Kentucky, with all due respect to the state of Kentucky, to the Lone Star State really paved the way and was a great move for you eventually becoming a professional football player.
Yeah. You could say that. I mean, God has a plan for sure for everything. And so, I mean, it's crazy though. I mean, just the competitiveness in the Dallas area with football. I mean, it's top notch. I mean, you're at sometimes just playing another college team. I mean, they got 10, 11 guys going D1. And so, you definitely have that competitive level that college coaches love. You got recruiters around all the time. And so that definitely helps you, have an opportunity to play at the next level.
Okay. How about your early soccer career? I guess it didn't last too long. Is that correct?
Nah, not at all. I guess I was about 4 years old, and my best friend was on the other team, and was on a breakaway with the ball, and had a wide open shot at the goal, and I guess I came up and just tackled him from behind, just absolutely destroyed him. And so it was at that moment my parents were like, yeah, this probably isn't your sport, and let's get you ready for football.
Well, come on, Rex. I mean, soccer's called football. You were playing the American version
exactly.
of it.
I was just a little confused, I guess, at the time.
Yeah. You mentioned your brother being a collegiate football player. How special was it for you to get to join up with him and play together for 1 year at Plano High School?
Yeah, it was huge. Definitely a year I'll never forget. I always looked up to him in so many ways, not only through sports, but just his work ethic in school. I just remember him, practicing, working out in the gym for 2 hours after practice and coming home and staying up all night with studies just because he knew what he wanted to do. He knew he wanted to go Ivy League and, really devote himself that way. So, it was special. I've got actually have four teammates, right now, two sets of twins on the Patriots, that are playing with each other. And I tell them all the time, you don't know how fortunate you guys are and how much I would love to still be playing with my brother today. So, definitely a memory you'll always cherish and, something very, very cool.
I think it's fair to say you turned out to be the better football player. Is he the more intelligent of the two? Because he went to Harvard and I guess did some stuff in Spain as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely more intelligent. He's has the height of the family too. He's about 6'3", and he still has his hair, and good looking guy, got the brain. So yeah, I mean, he got a lot of things that I don't have, but no, he's a great older brother, and just a thrill to be with.
For what it's worth, I don't have hair anymore, and bald is beautiful. So
it is.
Just remember that. You grew up a huge sports fan. Your buddy Reed tells me your bedroom walls were actually covered in Sports Illustrated, and then later you're on the cover of Sports Illustrated. How cool was that?
Yeah, it was really cool. I grew up, collecting Sports Illustrated. My grandfather did as well. Actually, lives in Kentucky. And so I always remember putting those pictures up of my heroes and guys I always try to emulate out there on the field or on the court or wherever. And so, yeah, I mean, there's not a single white space on that room, and my parents still have it all up. I don't think they just don't want to go through the trouble of taking it down. But no, it was cool seeing the Sports Illustrated cover. My grandfather was kind of mad because they regionalized the Sports Illustrated cover, and he's been collecting them for 30 years. And so that copy that week, he actually got the Saints-Rams game on the cover. And so I ended up having to give him a copy. But no, it's pretty cool. Just something you always dream about.
I think it's fair to say that the more sports a kid is involved in, the better chance they have to be an all-around great athlete. You also played baseball at a pretty high level down in Plano. Do you ever think about maybe pursuing that or having pursued that as a professional?
I did. We traveled a ton. I was on a great team, a lot of guys who are still playing baseball today, actually. And it was definitely something that I enjoyed doing. It was probably my best sport, honestly, out of baseball and basketball and football growing up. And I still think about it today. What if, I kept playing or whatever. But, my story went a different way. And so, but, football and basketball, I love doing, and what I did throughout high school. But if I look back on it and would have made a change, I probably would have tried to keep playing baseball, run track, do as many sports as possible. I think individualizing is, being specific on sports is so big these days, and I think kids just kind of get burnt out on that. And I think it really helps you develop skills when you play multiple sports that help you down the road.
Rex Burkhead of the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots is our guest on this bonus podcast edition of Vibeland Sports. I'm going to throw in Kyler Murray here. Did he make the right decision? I mean, you've kind of wrestled with that of being able to go maybe two different ways. Of course, his has been a little bit a higher level, having been drafted in the top 10 of Major League Baseball. Do you understand his decision?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one, for sure. Such a high level, of the game and both games. And it's a tough one. What I hope is that he just has the right supporting cast around him to make his decisions. And, if you have a passion, you have a love for something, I mean, go after it. And, can't fault him for that. And if he wants to try it out and, then switch to the other side, then I think that's fine as well. If he wants to do both, Deion, Bo Jackson did it. So, I'm sure they've been probably giving him advice on it as well.
Rex Burkhead, the former Texas 5A State Player of the Year, is our guest here on this bonus podcast of Vibeland Sports. Rex, you were the State Player of the Year in Texas, as I just mentioned. So why do you go to Nebraska? I'm sure you had plenty of offers to stay at home in the Lone Star State.
Yeah, I don't know how I got out of Texas, but it felt right. It was everything I wanted in the school. When I got there, Coach Pelini, he didn't really promise me anything. He's like, hey, if you come here, work hard, you'll have a chance to play. And I really respected that. Just because in the recruit process, you get a lot of promises and, people kind of, sugarcoating things. So, I love that. Just the rich tradition there at the university of running backs who come there, play in the NFL as well. And, a bunch of great guys I met on my visit that I, enjoyed. And so, there's no place like it.
Has it been tough on you, a former member of that program with so much history and tradition, to see where it has been? And I think you have to be awful excited as an alum of that program to see Scott Frost in charge.
Oh, yeah, definitely. As an alum, you definitely hope that your teams are doing well. And so, I think they're heading in the right direction, though. They had a great end to the year last year, even though they didn't start off very well. But I think they got the right coaches in place, and I think Frost is going to turn it around. He's got some players there that will definitely fit his mold and his style of coaching. And I only expect great things from here on out. They got the right direction, and with Martinez at quarterback, I think he's a potential Heisman candidate in the future.
Interesting enough, to win a Super Bowl, you go up against a former teammate in Ndamukong Suh with the Los Angeles Rams. It's almost like your post-high school career had come full circle. Isn't that right, Rex? Because he gave you quite the indoctrination into big-time college football your first day in Lincoln.
Yeah, he did. I mean, that was kind of my come or welcome to college football moment. We were just practicing in training camp, and I ran a little ISO play up the middle. I'm thinking I'm through this hole, pretty quickly, and all of a sudden Sue sheds a block, and we just run face mask to face mask, and mine's bent back into my face. My nose is bleeding, and so, yeah, that was my welcome to Nebraska college football, the Ndamukong Suh world. So yeah, I knew how great of a player he was going into the Super Bowl, and I knew we were going to have to, stop him in order to have success.
Talk about what the NFL Combine is like. We're coming upon it again. You were in Lincoln for just 3.5 years and then decided to go that way towards professional football. Is that thing grueling like it appears to be on TV?
Oh yeah, it's there's some long days for sure. It's a cool event, but it's definitely tasking physically, mentally, and they do that. They want to see the guys who could strive under pressure and really soak it in and perform well in meetings out on the field and certain tests they do. So I mean, it was cool. It was you get to meet a bunch of the players that you've been competing against or watching on TV during your time in college, and so it was neat. Got to meet a bunch of coaches and stuff, and it's just something you dream about being in a position for.
You have a great college career. You go through the Combine. You have high hopes of being able to play in the National Football League. I can't imagine as a young guy what it must be like to finally have your dream come true, and you hear your name called on draft day, and you were drafted back in 2013 by the Bengals. How cool was that?
That was very cool. You hear the phone ringing, and it's kind of like you don't feel your feet on the ground. It's just like, oh man, this is time. It's real now. And so it was cool. Marvin Lewis called me up and said we were going to be taking you with the draft. So it's special, something you'll never forget. I remember my family there had a few friends there as well to celebrate with, and pretty special moment.
From that time in Cincinnati, I understand you had quite a friendship with Andy Dalton, the quarterback. Pretty good guy out of TCU.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We still hang out. He lives in the Dallas area in the off season. Great leader, unbelievable player, and great friend as well.
All right, then you are picked up by the New England Patriots. That had to be almost surreal, didn't it?
Yeah, it was. I always watched the Patriots growing up, and just seeing how they use their running backs in the passing game, the run game. I always felt like it would fit me well. And so finally getting that opportunity to play in Foxborough and, be in that system, it is really a dream come true. And now just living it out, playing under Coach Belichick, who's just an unbelievable mind for the game. And, with teammates like Brady and Julian and Gronk and all those guys, it's pretty special.
What is the secret in New England? Because if you play running back there, as you know, you've almost got to check your ego in. You're not going to be a 25 carry per game guy. I mean, there's 3 or 4 guys that are going to rotate in and out. It seems like they just almost plug people into that position, and they become very good football players.
Yeah, absolutely. We take advantage of, personnel mismatches and whatnot. And so you never know what your role is going to be. It can be on a given game, series, play. It can always be changing. And, that's something I think Coach McDaniels does a great job with on the offense, and just mixing it up and understanding our skill sets, what we bring to the table. And, I think that helps us keeping defenses off balance.
I'm sure you guys are very competitive among the rotation in the backfield, but I think you also really root for each other, and because individual success means team success.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're all super competitive, of course, whether that's in the meetings or film room or out on the practice field. But when we see each other doing well, we get so much joy out of that. We love that. We're the first there to celebrate with one another when we make good plays, and it just helps us feed off one another. When we're each making good plays, it brings out the best in all of us.
A lot of players in the backfield. It's almost crowded, but you had so many injuries at one point this year. You moved a wide receiver, Cordell Patterson, into the backfield. He had success. How does that happen?
Yeah, CP. He's a versatile guy. It's just like I said, that's what the coaches do great at. They understand, our strengths and what guys can do. CP, he's done some stuff like that in the past in Oakland and Minnesota, and so I mean, it was, we were down, but definitely, and for him to come in there and step up and take some run plays was pretty cool.
Do you get the feeling, and I know you haven't been with the Patriots all that long, but this was maybe their most satisfying of the six championships because of everything they had to go through to get there?
Yeah, I'm sure it was for some. It definitely was for me being my first dream. But no, I can definitely see that. Just because, of all the media hoopla and people kind of doubting the team and certain players. I'm sure it was special and sweet for a lot of them. So, it was really cool. We went through a bunch of adversity this year as a team, and like I said, a lot of doubters out there. So to go out there and finish off the way we wanted to was neat.
New England Patriots running back Rex Burkhead is our guest here on this bonus pod of Vibeland Sports. It had to be a frustrating year for you that ended, obviously, with the most team success you've ever been a part of, a Super Bowl championship, but you miss almost 10 weeks with a neck injury. What was that like in the process to get back in Week 13?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough for sure. Anytime you're out, you're missing games, you're not around the team as much. It's tough. So, but you just do whatever you can, control what you can control, and do the best you can for if you have a chance to come back to make the most of that. And so, just really did my best to focus in mentally. Whether I was watching the games, film, and doing whatever I could physically. I thought the strength coaches, the trainers did a great job. Just helping me get prepared whenever I did come off the IR. So I would come in and not really miss a beat.
What clicked for you in the postseason, Rex? Because you only had one touchdown in that injury-shortened regular season, but you had 3 in 2 weeks in the divisional playoff game and the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, just really got into a rhythm, and I think that was as a team as a whole. For sure, I thought the offensive line was doing a tremendous job up front, really taking control of the line of scrimmage, and we knew if we could do that, we'd have a chance to be successful. And, they did a great job, as well as James Devlin at fullback, and so we just try to follow those guys as much as possible because it makes our job a little easier when we do. So, yeah, I think it all started up front, and that was what led to our wins throughout the playoffs.
The AFC Championship game for you almost was a microcosm of the entire season, wasn't it? I mean, you have highs and you have lows. You could have been a scapegoat if you lose that game because you're the one that is stopped on 4th and 1 from the Chiefs, 25-yard line. Yet you come back, you score the go-ahead touchdown of regulation and the eventual game winner in overtime.
Yeah, pretty special game for sure. Very, very memorable. It was unbelievable atmosphere. I mean, Kansas City is super loud. Very, very frigid game night, and a lot of things happening in that game. So it was cool. To go out and score the touchdown in overtime, and then know that you're going to the Super Bowl after that. It's something you don't forget, and something you're laying there on the ground like, finally, it's time to go. So it's really cool. Had the parents there, had my brother there, and a few friends from college. Made the drive from Lincoln. So not a lot of happy Nebraska fans after that, but it was a thrill.
You score the go-ahead touchdown with 39 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. I guess the Patriots on the sidelines know how their opponents feel most of the time. I think you left too much time up on the clock. Was that kind of the feeling with Mahomes having the football?
Yeah, I think so. I think all of us, I could tell some of the guys, they're still locked in. It's like, yeah, this thing's not over, and I was like, yeah, it's not. And so you knew how high powered of an offense they have, and there's time left, so we knew what they could do. So we just kind of sat there and watched, and with the game going in overtime, and then us taking the kickoff to receive it. Was huge. It gave us a little excitement and energy to go out there and finish the job.
Overtime rules are what they are, but after that win, there was a lot of controversy, and I support that. I think both teams in the playoffs ought to have at least one possession with the football. Do you agree with that? I mean, had you been on the other side of that and not get a chance offensively to at least make some plays, what's your thoughts on the overtime rules?
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, I like it.
This year
Just
you
because
do.
yeah, this year. But yeah, no, I can definitely see. I always felt like it should be similar to the college rules. I really did, where you just kind of go back and forth on the tries. I think it's better than it was for sure, where you could just kick a field goal and end up winning it. But yeah, I think there's still maybe some wiggle room there to improve upon it, and maybe try to go towards college a little bit.
How much credit does the Patriots defense deserve for this Super Bowl? I know the offense gets all the credit, but really, especially the Super Bowl, it was the defense that won the football game for you.
Oh yeah, no, without question. I mean, to give up, only 3 points to the Los Angeles Rams this year.
And playing two of the best offenses in football back to back.
Yeah, absolutely, and a ton of credit goes to them. They showed up, they made plays. I mean, you got Brandon Cooks out there, you got Todd Gurley, a running back, and Goff. I mean, they had so many explosive weapons, and for them to perform like they did, in a game like that is pretty unbelievable.
We touched on this a moment ago, Rex, but how does it work in New England? Because unlike other franchises, it seems like that some of their stars eventually decide, well, we're going to give up the team concept and go chase the bigger contract somewhere else and maybe not have that team success. Yet they're able to just plug people in where it doesn't work that way in a lot of other franchises.
Yeah, I think that's kudos to the scouting department, to the coaches, bringing in these guys, and I think the big thing is just understanding where they fit best in the roles that they need. And I think you see us; we have so many guys who do special teams and could be starters on offense or defense as well. And so, they get the most out of their players and understand the talents and how they can fit into the system. And so, that's all to the coaches and scouting department understanding that and realizing, this guy's a good fit for the team.
You've been a football fan your entire life. You follow the Patriots. You've been in the NFL on the other side of that franchise. What is the most misunderstood part about the New England Patriots?
Oh man, I guess it was a talk this offseason, and I guess that's we don't enjoy or have fun and enjoy the game. And I mean, that couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, we do have a good time. We understand, when we need to lock in and focus on football, but we have a good time, and winning's fun. And so when you're winning Super Bowls, you deserve to have a good time.
Tom Brady, what's he like?
Oh, he's great. Just his leadership, his ability to take control of the huddle, and his preparation and ability to play at such a high level when he's 41 years old is, I don't know how he does it, but it's special to be his teammate and just go out there and compete with him.
Is he easy to get along with in a work setting? Because you always hear he has very high expectations of himself, but he also expects that from his teammates.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he's great to work with, and there is an expectation level there, but we understand that's because he knows what it takes to be great and to win championships. He's won 6 now, so he understands the level that we all need to be on, and the level of urgency that needs to be there.
Have you ever been on the other side of his wrath?
On the other side of his wrath, oh man, I mean, we've maybe disagreed upon some things, or maybe he wanted something one way or the other on a route. So I mean, you're always not going to be on the same page, and so I learned that early on. There's a bunch of details I had to clean up, and things that he wanted. So, we got those figured out, and definitely, a lot more comfortable working with each other.
He's obviously one of the great play callers at the line of scrimmage. Don't you agree?
Oh, definitely. Just understanding if that's a certain mismatch up there, something we can adjust to, just to get into a better situation. He reads defenses like no other, and he has the experience to be able to do that. So the coaches definitely have trust in him to do so.
Rex Burkhead is our guest here on Vibeland Sports Bonus Podcast. When you're 41 going on 42 years old, you obviously don't want to be hit a lot. And he wasn't hit very much in the playoffs. You alluded to this just a moment ago about from the running game standpoint, but I thought the offensive line of the playoffs for the Patriots was as good as there's been for quite a while.
Definitely. When they keep hits off him and keep pressure away from Tom, then usually good things are going to happen. So that helps us out all around. I mean, it starts with, David at center and Shaq and Joe and Trent and Marcus. I mean, those guys did an unbelievable job just keeping guys off of him. And so, it helped us out. When you have the run game going like we did, it opens up things in the passing game. And as long as you give Tom time, then, he's usually going to be pretty successful.
In the post-game celebrations in Kansas City, in Atlanta, after winning the Super Bowl, it seemed like to me that Belichick enjoyed this maybe and had as much fun as he's had in any of the other previous 5 Super Bowl titles. Do you think he really enjoyed this run?
Yeah, I think he did. I think it's special for him for sure. I think he's got 8 total rings now, including his days with the Giants and other teams. So, that's just pretty unbelievable. But no, it was cool just to see him, taking it all in. He knows how much hard work goes into it, not only with the coaches but players and staff, nutritionists, from everyone. So when we put in all that work and are awarded with the Super Bowl, it's pretty satisfying.
Is he more than what he's portrayed at and allows people to see of him? He's not always this stoic guy that walks around, always business, never has any fun, is he?
No. I mean, he understands, when it's time to be serious and when it's, time to, goof a little bit and have some fun. So, no, he's a great coach. Like I said, his mind for the game's unreal. I always thought I was a pretty intelligent football player, and then when I got to New England and when he started talking some situation football, I was like, man, I never even thought of that. So, so many lessons I've taken from him and been able to use.
How much of an influence does he actually have on the offensive side of the football? Because his background is a defensive coordinator, and you have Josh McDaniels obviously doing a lot of the offense.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure he definitely does, has his input. I can't tell you to what extent that is, but, he knows the game. And I think when you've been around as long as he has and has had the success he's had and been through so many situations, you're going to have influence all around and be able to speak your mind and, kind of help out whether that's offensive coaches, defensive coaches, special teams coaches, help them with game plans.
What do you think his typical work day is? I mean, is he there 18 hours a day and then sleeps at his office the next 5 or 6?
Yeah, he may. I don't know. I've never really seen him leave the building, so he works his tail off. But that's why he's a great coach, and he just understands what it takes.
You win number 6, your first Super Bowl championship. There's over 1 million, almost 1.5 million people in the streets of Boston for that parade. How cool was it?
Oh, it's special. It's something you see on TV, but you don't realize how neat it is until you're at it in person. And so, it's special seeing there's a bunch of kids out there missing school and, screaming fans every left and right. And it was unbelievable. It was a great day, just, floating around the city of Boston, taking it all in. But that just shows you how crazy Boston sports fans are, how much they love, not only the Patriots, but, the Bruins, the Celtics, Red Sox as well. And there's really no other place like it, in my opinion.
There is no better sports town in the country than Boston, Massachusetts. But those people up there are spoiled, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean they just had a Red Sox parade, so it's I guess when you have those high expectations and stuff, that's what they're passionate about, and so it's cool to see people recognize not only you, but, so many other people, associated with the organization. I remember talking to a guy and he's like, oh, that's so-and-so, from the media department or whatever. And I'm like, golly, like, how do you know like that? So it's pretty cool.
Rex Burkhead is our guest here on this bonus pod of Vibeland Sports. Rex, I want to talk about one other thing, and that's Jack Hoffman. That's a name that a lot of people around here may not know or have forgotten about. Tell us the story of Rex Burkhead and Jack Hoffman.
Yeah. So, Jack and we have met my junior year at the University of Nebraska in 2011. And he had just been diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor, had surgery. And Keith Zimmer, our life skills director at the university, had asked if I wanted to have lunch and with his Jack and his family, and ended up giving a tour of the stadium that day. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So, it was a great meeting, just seeing Jack and how much fun he was having with his sisters, even though he knew what he was going to be battling and what was going on. And, it was just a huge inspiration for me. And, I think they were hoping I'd give him some strength that day, but I think I got a lot of strength from him as well. So we just kept in touch, ended up Coach Pelini, with his grace, invite him out to a practice one day, and he kind of became another teammate that year. And it was announced in one of our Ohio State games that he was kind of brought onto the team, and Team Jack took off. He scored a touchdown in our spring game a couple of years later. Won an ESPY award for it for Moment of the Year, which was pretty special, and got an invite to the White House to meet Barack Obama. And I was fortunate to come along on the trip with them. And now the foundation's almost raised $5.5 million for pediatric brain cancer research. So it's just awesome to be a part of, and such a great family, such a great kid, and special.
At the genesis of the Team Jack Foundation, how much were you a part of that, or is that something that you have come on a little bit later on?
It was, kind of started with the family and, their mission and, just wanting to help, just because pediatric brain cancer, it's a rare disease. And so it's not heavily funded by the government. And they realized that from, certain treatment options they were seeing. They were over 20, 30 years old. And, just making that, known to people, not only in the state of Nebraska, but across the country as well, is, kind of their mission. And, there's certain people or kids way out in Western Nebraska that may not have, the best options. They have to drive all the way to Omaha to get those. So just exploring those, different treatments and research to be able to extend out to families is something that they're trying to do. And, it's great to be a part of, not only myself, but, numerous other players from my class. We really took hold of the foundation and, jumped on board with trying to help spread the word. And at our Team Jack Gala and Lincoln every single year, there's so many guys that come back for that. And not only former, but current players as well. So it's a big time event. We got Dick Vitale speaking this year. So really looking forward to that.
You alluded to something that I think a lot of sports fans might remember, but they didn't remember who was actually involved in it, and that was the video that came out in the Nebraska spring game with Jack Hoffman scoring a touchdown. How did that all come about, and was that your idea? Was that the coaching staff's idea? Was it a combination of both?
Yeah, so it all started with the coaches. They had called me up the night before and or kind of asked me what I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm sure he'd love to run out in Memorial Stadium and score a touchdown in front of everyone. So, it was their idea, and I kind of gave them the okay. And, it was special. I mean, there wasn't a dry eye in the stands or anywhere in that stadium. So it was just cool to see him out there, the guys guiding them to the end zone and, picking them up. So something, you'll never forget. Just, gracious to be a part of. And, yeah, like I said, he ended up getting an ESPY for it, so it was pretty cool.
Not only, Rex, have you worked with him when you were in college, and now a member of the foundation board, but you've always kept him kind of in the forefront of people's minds by things that you wear during the game. A couple of years ago, I think against Buffalo, you wore shoes that said Team Jack on it or something like that. You also wear wristbands that show your support of him as well.
Yeah, that NFL's done a great job, I think, with doing a My Cause My Cleat Week, where guys can design their cleats that go to a certain foundation. And the past few years, I've done the Team Jack Foundation, of course, and they end up auctioning them off online, and all that money and proceeds go to the foundation. So it is pretty cool. Always wear my Team Jack wristband. That's kind of where it all started. Those were kind of the first things being passed out amongst players, and so we'd wear them in the game and around, and that's really how the word was spreading first. So it's cool. It's just a way to get awareness out there and for other people to hear about it.
Probably the best part of this story is Jack Hoffman is still with us. I mean, had an inoperable brain tumor all those years ago, and yet he's still a part of your life and his family's life.
Yeah, he is. He's still battling. Still has some seizures and complications here, and so actually he had a seizure at halftime at the Chiefs game at the AFC Championship. He was there with his father, and so they went out to the car at halftime, and his dad Andy kind of asked him, do you want to go home and stuff? And Jack, just being as tough as he is, was like, no, I want to go back in. And so they went back in, saw the fourth quarter and overtime, and
that's all he needed to see, right?
That's all he needed to see. So it was pretty cool. But got to talk to him a little bit afterwards, and it's great to see him grow now. I mean, he's got a deeper voice. He's almost as tall as me now. So just to see his growth and to be with him and his family and still have that relationship is really cool.
What's the life expectancy for somebody like Jack or kids like him that have that type of disease at such an early age? I mean, has he already exceeded the curve and is continuing to live a normal life?
Yeah, it's getting better just because there are, getting some better treatment options out there for kids and more availability. But I mean, it's tough. It really is, just depending on when it's found, when it's, operated on or how much they get and stuff. So, I mean, it's sad. We, at the gala every year, we always have, some kids that come in who, have had brain cancer in the past or are currently battling. And, we've had kids who have passed and aren't there the next year. So it's sad, to see, but it's also, such a great night to see so many people come together, and fight this thing.
To recap a little bit for our listeners, what exactly is the Team Jack Foundation? Does it support that type of cancer research? Does it support families that have kids battling that disease?
Yeah, so it's research. Like I was talking about, there's so many treatment options and ways to help these kids that are super old, and so to really fund that side of it and find different ways to maybe operate or treat certain locations of the cancer and tumors is what they're trying to do. And there's numerous projects in Omaha and Boston that are being funded, and so really focusing on that is the foundation's mission.
Talk about the gala that you have. You have one coming up in February, and you've been doing this now for several years.
Yeah, so man, I think this is what is it, 7th year or something now? I mean,
time flies,
it's crazy. Yeah, it's 6th or 7th year, so it's crazy. It's an unbelievable event. Like I was saying, a bunch of current and former Nebraska players come out. There's a bunch of auction items, and we got Dick Vitale speaking this year, so that's going to be special. We've had, Jim Kelly in the past, and, numerous other people. So it's just a night that a bunch of Nebraska people come to for this cause. That's very dear to a lot of their hearts.
And then a couple months later, Rex, down in Plano, you have another event to benefit that foundation. What is that about?
Yeah, that's the Team Jack trifecta, and it'll be our 3rd year to do that. in my hometown in Plano, Texas. And we have a 5K, a football camp, and a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, with all proceeds going to the foundation. And super excited about that. It's grown, the past couple years. And so I think it's going to be even bigger this year. And just excited for that. Cool to have the, hometown really rally behind it and spread the word, not only from the state of Nebraska, but here in Texas as well.
Can anybody take part in the gala and the team trifecta, or can they just simply donate to Team Jack Foundation?
Yeah, I mean, if they'd like to volunteer, help out, you can go to the website, teamjackfoundation.org, and, help out. Or if you just like to donate, you can do that as well. And so, just appreciate any help or donation or anything to help with the cause.
How about I make a donation in exchange for Rex Burkhead appearance in the man cave? Is that good?
We can make that happen.
Can your time be bought?
We can do that.
All right. Hey, what's up for you this offseason? How much time do you actually get to take off before you restart training and such? And I know that you have a new member of the family that's going to take some time.
Yeah, we do. My wife and I, we had a son about 3 months ago, little jet, Michael Burkhead. So we'll be spending time with him. The season's kind of crazy, so it'll be nice to hang out with him a lot more. But, it's a short one, only a couple months. That's what you get when you have a longer season. So, and then we'll head back up to Foxborough in April.
Wow, no rest for the weary. By the way, is little jet going to be a Dallas Cowboy?
Oh, man. The Patriot.
I had to ask, my friend. And your wife, you guys have been together for a long, long time. I mean, Reed tells me high school sweethearts?
Yes. We
I didn't know those things lasted anymore.
Yeah, we made it. We started dating after freshman year in high school. So it's been great. She's an awesome mom, awesome wife, and we're going.
It is not easy to be the wife of a professional athlete, I wouldn't think.
No, it's not. We're not around that much, especially right now with or during the season with Jeb being born. I maybe see him once a day at night, and that was it. So she's a warrior. She's such a great mom, and just blessed to have her in my life.
One more time, tell our listeners how they can help out on the foundation.
Yep. So teamjackfoundation.org. If you'd like to volunteer at any event or donate, that is the place to go, and we'd love you to be part of it.
Appreciate the time, my friend. Congratulations. How's it sound when I say Super Bowl champion?
It's a good feeling. Good sound.
We'd love to have you back on some other time, and I hope our paths cross eventually.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
Rex Burkhead of the New England Patriots, our guest here on this Vibeland Sports edition of Bonus Podcast. That'll wrap it up. A big thank you to Rex. Until next time, I'm Todd Miller.